Greetings, space travelers. Welcome home. You've just tuned your dial to spacedoutradio, the only place where you can own the night. I'm your host, Mr. Rob G, and tonight we're broadcasting to you on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, KNPL, and Odyssey Radio. Remember, you can access our archives for free at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. And while you're there, consider hitting the subscribe button. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at spacedoutradio, at spacedoutradioshow. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where the options are endless. You can stay up to date with the SOR Newswire, get some official Spaced Out swag, plus rock out to some Bumblefoot and so much more. We're going to have another awesome show for you tonight. We have Travis Moostoos that's going to be joining us a little bit later on this hour. And he's into all sorts of stuff. I hear monster hunting, UFOs, Bigfoot, all sorts of cryptid stuff. So should be really, really fun as we go ahead and get to know Travis tonight. And what we're going to do, you know, I want to start out by just welcoming everyone who has come up in the chat so far. Let's go ahead and jump in and see who we have. This is, you know, by default, before even looking, I might as well just give it to Race Fan. We should do that probably every single night. Just call out who's the silver and the bronze, right? Because Race Fan is definitely gold again tonight. Then we have Randy Petticourts. Randy is picking up that silver. Is not shabby at all. And we have Robert Lamont Jr. taking home the bronze. So usually the silver and the bronze usually kind of shift between each other. But somehow Race Fan seems to get the gold almost every time. So, yeah, definitely want to thank everyone for coming in. Race Fan, Randy Petticourt, Robert Lamont Jr., and who else do we have here? We have Kathy Evans. Thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday, getting ready to end the weekend and get back into that Monday through Friday schedule with Dave Scott. And obviously, whatever you have to do in regards to your place of employment. We have Kurt M. Kurt M., thank you for coming in. Thanks for joining us. Jessica S., thank you so much for coming in and joining us tonight. We have Tamothman. Tamothman, thanks for coming in and joining the show. We appreciate you. And let's see, who else do we have? Brown Dwarf. Brown Dwarf says, good evening. Good evening to Brown Dwarf. We have Mike Bothwell. Yes. So it seems like Mike Bothwell may already have some knowledge about Travis here. So yeah, okay, fill us in, Mike. I guess we'll be finding out here any moment. Decipher with the wavy hand emoji and the alien head emoji. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining us. We have Phil Minervino. Excuse me. Phil Minervino. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for coming in, Phil. Mark Sanchez with hand gestures. I know the horns and I know the thumbs up. Okay, I see the other one. All right, thank you for coming in, Mark. And we have Joe Monk. Joe Monk, thanks for joining us. Yes. We have Shelly. Thank you for coming in, Shelly. We have Ange. Thank you so much for joining us, Ange. Susan Alloway, it says greetings. Thank you for coming, Susan. Let's see. Definitely some new names in the chat, which is a beautiful thing. Definitely a beautiful thing. We have Van Gold or Love Be Love or Dr. Love, depending on how well you know her. Thank you for coming in. We have Kira, I am. Hey. At Spaced Out Radio, Rob, and all you amazing space souls. So everybody, welcome Kira into the building. We have Lars Jansen. Good morning, all. Thank you for coming in, Lars. We have Lulu Bell. Hello, lovely people. Thank you for coming in, Lulu. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Area 51 has officially entered the building. Yo. Area 51. Appreciate you joining us. We got Scott M. Scott M., thank you for coming through. All right. We got Derek Galloway. Travis, always smiling, Moostoos. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Fantastic. We got Maggie M10. Hey, Mr. Rob G and all. Thank you for coming, Maggie M10. All the way from down under. Let's see. We got Donna Spencer. Hello, SOR family and friends. Mr. Rob G, Nicole, and Travis. Welcome, Donna. Let's see. Oh, Mike Bothwell. So the original guest rescheduled, and we were able to grab Travis. Travis is an awesome guy. I went ahead and looked into his background, so he's going to be bringing the heat for us tonight as we go over monster hunting. There's various topics that we're going to actually be touching, so it should be pretty awesome. We got Paranormal Pixie Laura. Good evening, folks. Thank you for joining us, Pixie. We have almost done here. Paramarv, thank you for coming. Thanks for joining us. The Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, who just ended her show over there off the trails. Which you guys make sure that you're over there first. Spend time with Jessica, and then when her show is over, kindly move on over here to the after hours so we can continue what we bring here on the weekends. So Jessica Jones is in the house. We got Ann Palmer. Inner knot cut out. Oh, okay. Haha, love it. Inner knot cut out on me last night. That's great. I like that. Inner knot. That is awesome. Let me see. Cryptid just says Race Fan gets to go to my chat every time. Race Fan is just killing it everywhere. Let's see. We got Little Cam 51. Thank you for coming in, Little Cam 51. Grandmaster UV, the latest winner of the SOR trivia. So give it up for Grandmaster UV stepping back in the building and maybe defending a title tonight. I don't know. Let's just see how we feel. Let's play it by ear. Let's see. We got Digger Dog. Digger Dog, thanks for coming in. And let's see. Okay, looks like that might be about everyone. Chat just refreshed. So let me make sure. Okay, we got Edmund Rukowski listening in Tampa, broadcasting from California. Thank you for coming in, Edmund. Appreciate you. We got Simon the Likeable. Hey, Area 51, Tomat Man, Kira, I am. We got Oregon Vikings 86. What up, Rob G? What up, Oregon Viking 86? Let's see. Looking pretty good here. We got Christopher SOR. What's up, Christopher? Thanks for coming in. And let's see. Okay, Crystal J. Me, I'm here. Yes, you are, Crystal J. And thanks for joining us. We appreciate you coming in. Okay, 5DRG. Evening, y'all. Evening, 5DRG. Looks like we're almost to the bottom. I just saw it. Okay, there we go. Rat's ass. Hello, bipeds. Hello, rat's sass. Rat's ass. Rat's ass. Rat's ass. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Nina's Life. Like it. Nina's Life. Callie. Okay, representing. Appreciate you coming in. Okay. Sir Brian Bowden told me earlier EMP attack supposed to happen on the United States somewhere between November 16th, 23rd. Just so you know, Derek Galloway, Brian Bowden will be heading off our UFO report here on Spaced Out Radio after hours. So he is the new guy that we will be having weekly here on the show. So you brought it up, so I thought I'd announce it, and it's going to be awesome. So let's see. Who else do we have? All right. Yeah. Looks like we're all caught up. Okay. Welcome. Whoa. Welcome to the show. I just knocked over something that I needed. So welcome to the show. Thank you for coming in. So yeah, so we're gonna have a great show tonight. It's gonna be pretty. Yeah, exactly. Oops, I knocked. It shouldn't have been sitting here anyways. I should have moved it before the show. So yeah. Anyways, it wasn't anything expensive, so we're good to go. But yeah, so we're gonna have a great show tonight. I'm gonna be bringing in Travis Moostoos. This is my first time meeting Travis, so I intend on it being an awesome conversation, and can't wait to really get ready to get to know him. So without further delay, let's go ahead and bring in the man of the hour, Mr. Travis Moostoos. Actually, I don't think he's ready yet. So what we're going to do is go ahead and let's talk about our swag real quick, and then we'll bring up Travis right afterwards. So we don't have ugly swag. David Scott says we don't have ugly swag, and I agree. We do not have ugly swag. We're going to go ahead and take a look through the catalog real quick before we jump in with Travis. And let's see here. I'm going to prove to you that we don't have ugly swag. So you can get this, just so you know, over at spacedoutradio.com. Just go ahead and sign in over there. You will be directed to our merch. And this is what you shall see when you arrive. You should see Random Guy Patch t-shirts, Random Guy UFO shirts, Alien Rocker tees, baby long sleeve organic bodysuits, the Badass Merle tee, the Bigfoot toque or Bigfoot beanie. If you're in the United States, the Bob Lazar tee, the Canadian Sasquatch tee, SOR Classic t-shirt. We got the custom pins. I know someone asked about those. We do have them. We also have, for everybody out there, if you're in the need of a pair of draws, we have Dave Scott Beard and Hair Awareness draws. We do have those. We have the normal Dave Scott draws. So for guys and girls, we have the Dogman Let's Rock tee. We have the El Avni Volador t-shirt. We have the FU Dave t-shirt inspired by President Zaddy, I'm sure. We have the Grantavius Max muscle shirt. We have the holographic die cut stickers. Is there anybody out there baseball tee? We have the Kids Wendigo hoodie, ladies SOR Street hoodie, the Lip Blade t-shirt, men's SOR hoodie, the Merle shirt. We have the Peak Woo shirt. We might be needing some experiencing some Peak Woo tonight. We have the Phoenix Lights concert shirt. We have the Plethora drink baseball shirt, Sasquatch USA tee, short sleeve baby bodysuit. We have the SOR We Own the Night tee. You got to get one of those. And if you guys are listening, Christmas is coming up. I really would love an SOR Bluetooth speaker and wireless charging pad. So I'm not really trying to ask for, but hey, I'm just putting it out there. We have the SOR Classic hoodie. We have the SOR Coolio sleeve, the SOR Diner tee, the Faye tee, which I'm assuming, I don't know if that's the fairy tee, but okay, SOR Fairy Tank. We have those kicks, the We Own the Night SOR kicks. Those are pretty fresh. We have the SOR logo sticker, SOR logo tumbler, the official SOR shirt, the spacedoutradio.com. We have the SOR sticker, SOR used UFO tee, the water bottle, the women's tank, Team Rock women's tank, Team Stump women's tank. We have Jessica Jones, the Cryptid Huntress, Off the Trails tee. You guys got to go get that. Represent the Sassy Squatch tee. We have the Tim Senor, Tim's Alien Woo shirt, UFO tacos and tea t-shirt. We Own the Night hat. We Own the Night panties. We Own the Night tee. Two of them. We have the Women's Phoenix Lights concert tank, the Women's UFO and Tacos tank, the Women's Woo Trade undies, the Woo Factor t-shirt goes with the Woo Factor pillow. We have the Woo Train boxer briefs, the Woo Train mug, and of course, You've Got Aliens. So definitely want to make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. That is at spacedoutradio.com because we don't have ugly swag. We don't. I just showed you. We don't have ugly swag. Make sure you guys go and check it out. So without further delay, we have our guest here that we're going to bring in. My first time meeting a gentleman. Everybody tells me he's a fun and great guy, and I guess we're about to find out right now. We go ahead and bring in our guy here, Travis Moostoos. Travis, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Nice to meet you. I've been hearing great things about you. Everyone that has mentioned your name to me has always had something great to go right after it. So
That's good.
I'm just exactly. I'm ready to hear it. So I'm getting to know you, right? So really, I like to start out and kind of find out kind of what led you to where you're at. How did you start? Any experiences early on? If you could go ahead and take us through that, and then we'll jump into some other stuff. And before we start, guys, if you have any questions for Travis, make sure you put them in caps, and I will save them for sure. And then we'll ask him at the end of hour 2. All right. Go ahead, Travis. Thank you very much.
Greetings. Yeah. So, where do I start? I start with my family. Our family is part of the Bear Clan. I grew up, very in a lot of the spiritual aspects of our cultural beliefs. It all came from our great grandfather, Chief Headman Moostoos, who was a headman, and we never had chiefs. It was more like people just, I should say, went for advice or for help to like a medicine man. That's what they would be as a headman. So there was many of those guys around the area, and that's why there was when you look at the Treaty 8 signing, there's a lot of signers for that, from including his brother was there and other people from different reserves too. But what I'm getting at is my great grandfather did sign the Treaty 8 back in 1899, and so what I'm getting at is yeah, so like we just continued living on the traditions and keeping the beliefs and the stories, alive. And I'm happy to be here on this radio show and sharing some of these experiences that I've grown up, experiencing and hearing. And yeah, it's a pleasure, man. Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting to come back on, so it's wonderful to be back.
Definitely. And this is after hours. Dave does his thing during the week. This is after hours. We kind of do things a little different when it comes to the weekend, right? So I understand that you've had experiences with UFOs, Bigfoots, different sorts of cryptids. And I know when you get into like Native American folklore, like there's a lot of cryptids and just different strange creatures that are mentioned. So I guess if you would be able to kind of go into that, like what is some of the history as far as through your tribe, some of the things that have been talked about over time, and then things that you may have actually also experienced.
Yeah, yeah. So my people are the Cree people, the Neowin Neowuk, which is Neo is four, in people of the four directions, and this is like that's the actual name is the Neowin Neowuk, but a lot of the, I guess I should say, English talking people, they named us Cree at the time, so that's what people know us as still, but Northern Cree. And yeah, like I said, our clan's the Bear Clan, Moostoos and Musqueam clan. So this is, been a thing for me. And like you said, a lot of the native spirituality is it does involve a lot of the, like I said, the Neo and Neowuk is consideration of just like the abbreviation of what the true longer word was of the four corners of the universe. So our origins are from the stars. We believe that we are people of the stars, star nations, the Akakos Akasamana. And we believe that's a deep part of our ancestry and our connections and our spirituality. And so we have a lot of like encounters and tales that involve a lot of the star nations and also encounters with Bigfoot, being a forest guardian that he is. We know him to be quite a I should say interesting species of beings out there.
So what would be if you look through your through the history of just from your ancestors, right? What would be probably the number one cryptid that continues to come up in some of the older stories? Is it Bigfoot, or are there others?
Bigfoot's still around. Bigfoot's not gone anywhere. Like, and a lot of, like I said, the extraterrestrials, they haven't gone anywhere either. A lot of the like ancient cryptids, though, like the man buffalo eater people, those ones are like in the ancient animal kingdom times. This is like before any kind of like, I should say, colonization that happened, or any of like the pilgrims coming over, or any of that kind of deal. This is like real ancient stories. There's other cryptids though, like dogmen and well, like I said, there's another. Well, you guys know it as Wendigos, but we call it a different name out here. There's a Cree name for it. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it anymore. like there's a few times people made me say it, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta do something now and pray, send it away. But yeah, so like there, and that one's like it like it can inhabit people and to make them do like cannibalistic things, you know what I mean? Like it pretty much makes people eat each other and pretty much like go into like a man, how should I say it? Like if they go into like just like a crazy berserk mode, and like they end up like becoming like so totally insane. They end up eating their lips, they eat up their fingers and their arms, and like they're eating the skin of their hands and stuff until they look like literally like a skeleton being. And then by that point, the monster that, well, I should say the evil spirit that inhabits their body becomes like so powerful that they start becoming the creature itself, and yeah, it's just like they become like a vessel for that evil to come through into the world, and a lot of times it does, and it ends up becoming like this. Yeah, when it starts to eat enough people, because like it's saying that a lot of the stories say that it's so strong that it would kill like 8 warriors if just scream at them, that their eardrums would just like bleed out, like they'd pop out and they'd be just like frozen, stuck in place, just holding their ears, and they would walk up and just rip their heads off. And yeah, and other times where it was like they found, you know, pretty much it was just dressed up in all the warriors' guts and dancing around and just looked real scary to them, and like they all got petrified, scared, and like it would sit there and eat like a whole camp of like a whole tribe of people, like 30 people, and just sit there and eat them all until they were all gone, everyone, the whole camp, if it got everybody. And like after, like I said, after that, it usually got bigger. It got, you know, it started evolving. And well, my uncle Russell would say that they would get as high as a teepee, and like a 13-foot teepee, and they'd just walk in and they'd just be knocking over teepees and sending tribes running for their lives into the forest and picking people up and snapping them in half and eating them. And then eventually like tribes had to like band together to fight it. And they were just throwing spears at it and everything. And like a whole bunch of warriors, like thousands of warriors from all across the nations, like the lands, had to band together to fight it. And it ended up just flying away. Like it ended up having wings at that point. It ended up flying away into the sky. They say it flew into the stars by that point. And then they're all afraid that it was going to come back one day and finish us all off, kind of deal.
Man, with stories like that, jeez. Okay, is that you were speaking about? I guess that's the Wendigo. Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But we know it as a different name, though. It's a similar name, but it's a different name. But you know, and so.
Yeah, and you were just saying, so you were like, you don't want to say that, and I understand. See, I heard from other people, there's someone in this chat, what we recently learned as a group, a lot of us, what Wendigo was. No one had a clue what it was. And then someone in the chat, I want to say it was Mike Bothwell or Mike Arrington, it was somebody in the chat that said, don't say that name.
Yeah, don't say the name.
And then I hear you say that. What is the reason behind that?
It's like you're calling that spirit out or that energy forward, and it's just like, you know, you don't want anything to do with that. There was a guy, like the very first ever hanging in Alberta, Canada, was a guy who had the Wendigo spirit in him, and he ate his wife and child, and they found him in his tent in the woods there because he was on the run and stuff, and he had all red eyes, and yeah, they ended up hanging him, and yeah, it was just like he even said it himself, like he was being taken over by it, like he wasn't fully like evolved into it, and he wanted to be hung by them, like the Mounties that ended up finding him. It's in history. You can literally read that up. But yeah, like, you know, it's a pretty wild thing that does happen, like, to people, and it's like you know, for us, we do a lot of like I should say prayers and ceremonies that keep up barriers, like, you know, I should say astral and like our spiritual barriers that keep us protected from these things or drive them away. And like I said, we haven't had to deal with any of that in many years, but my great grandfather, Chief Headman Moostoos, he used to fight them when he was younger, like a young man, like my age. And this is before he signed any treaty or anything like that. This is like when he's a young dude, and they end up having to go and get one out of the woods, and they had to use spiritual items to fight it, because it wasn't gonna like be taken down by any old, you know, bow and arrow or any old, you know, spear or anything like that. So they had to use like, you know, blessed weapons and like the most finest of like, you know, rare poisons and things like that to you know, take this thing on. And yeah, there's, like I said, it was a big thing. They ended up having to capture it with rope, a blessed rope to keep it down, tied down, and a buffalo hide to keep it like contained, the spirit contained in there, so it wouldn't freak out or it'd be lost in the dimension of that blanket. And so they ended up bringing it back and tying it up to the biggest spruce tree outside the camp, and they had a ceremony in the sweat lodge to figure out like what, like who sent the spirit after them, like, because the medicine man like called upon it and put it in somebody, and the thing ended up like having like it ended up throwing up into because this is like in the winter time, right? So I ended up throwing up and made these icicles, like, and they made like spikes in the ground, like 3 spikes, and when the guys came out, the medicine men were like, all right, these spikes are in the ground for whoever, you guys, the warriors have to pick these spikes up, and whoever picks it up, that this was sent for them. This creature was sent to kill them. And then my great grandfather Headman Moostoos picked it up, and the icicle melted. So then he ended up having to cut the head off of the beast, well, the monster. And and then there was more things that went on after that. But so that's like one of those ones that are like very much real, and it's like, you know, it's not, you know, it's nothing to mess around with or try to say, yeah, you found it or you're trying to go after it. It's like one of those things you just want to keep out of the dimension totally, you know, because it's just chaotic.
Yeah, and I heard that. Like I said, one of the you know, we recently discovered, we were looking through just all the cryptids of the world in different countries, and we came across Wendigo. A lot of people didn't know what that was, and then had someone say, "Hey, you know, say that name," and I thought I thought the person was joking, but then when I hear you say it, it's like, no, this is serious. Like, no, you don't want to say that name. So, is there you know, within, so as far as like your clan or your tribe, how do you, what is the view of extraterrestrial? Like, what, how is it viewed from inside the tribe, inside the clan?
All right. Like a lot of us believe that we're descendants of them. There are brother and sisters, star brothers and sisters, I should say. And and then we also know that there's other species out there too, like little guys, and those ones are real interesting, the little dudes. There are some that visit us from other dimensions in our ceremonies that come to heal people, or I should say, give us visions, or I should say, like coding, like light coding kind of deal, and that's like, you know, to help us with healing and different things that I should say our deep connection to this extraterrestrial, like I should say, universe, right? We're all connected to it, and it's a beautiful thing. Like it's a real how should I say, a lot of it is sort of like really viewed as like, a lot of them are like guardians, or like like guardians or guides in that sense. So it's like, you know, a lot of them, we don't see a lot of them as like negative entities, but we do know that there are reptilians, and those ones are negative ones. Like we've had like ancient wars with them. They'd come up from the inner earth with their spaceships and land, like their ships like that hook up like this, they'd land, and they'd all come out in their black robes and try to steal a lot of the native women from the tribes and go to war with our warriors. And there was like huge like talks about it, like they had the capabilities like just to go right through the mountains and stuff, and our people would see them because they chase after them, right? And you know, a lot of times like they'd end up having to go to like the Hopi, who would end up like showing them ways through the underground tunnels. Like there's like in ancient times, they knew a lot of these tunnels that just like went across all of America, from the top of America down to South America, to even islands off of the waters. You know, like these tunnels went all over in the underground. Like it was like pretty much like inner earth. Like that's where it existed. The existence was, right, of these reptilians and the snake clans and snake houses and stuff. And so like a lot of warriors would end up chasing these people, like, you know, reptilians down into the underground. A lot of them never came back out. The ones that did stay up, a lot of times they end up having to call upon like the guardian spirits to watch over them, or they end up having to just like I said, it would be like a big fight or war that would happen in the prairies or wherever they're outside of the tribes, wherever they were camped, right? Because it was very like it was like kind of just camping all over, like moving the tribes like around where the, I should say, where the, you know, I guess like the season was best, I guess, you know what I mean? Like up here in the north, it would be just moving all over during the times of the year. But so yeah, and there was all that with the reptilians, and then like I said, there was other ones that came down and they were very friendly. That's where we got a lot of like the patterns for like star blankets and like it, and that's actually how we write out our languages in the star blanket, our Neo-Wak language. It's all the letters are like in a circle, and it's really interesting stuff because that's where it came from, was the stars, the language. Wow. And yeah, like it's all tied. Like the more and more I learned about my culture, the more and more I learned about this, you know, the star ancestors. This, I should say, Akakoska, Kaskiki. You know, like it's It's a very real thing.
And that's pretty awesome, because when you get those stories that are passed down just over many generations, and just the history that's there is what I'm amazed with. And I'm part Native American as well. I'm just indirectly, so I don't have like the source to go to and get a lot of that knowledge from. So I'm marking down a few of these questions here. Yeah, F you too, President Zaddy. F you too, sir. Okay.
See, our people up here in the north, we live next to Lesser Slave Lake, which is like the second largest lake in, I should say, in Alberta, Canada. And there's another one, the Great Slave Lake, and that one's the deepest lake in all of Alberta, Canada. It can literally fit like I think it could fit the tallest Edmonton building in it 4 times before if somebody hits the bottom of it. But anyway, so these lakes are all connected to each other. Even Saddle Lake's connected to Lesser Slave Lake, and they're all connected through these rivers. And that's how our people used to travel in the early times. There was no horses. We didn't use like wolves all the time or fly around on eagles all the time. So yeah, we used a lot of boats and and we paddled around in the waters, and we dealt with a lot of the beasts that were in the water too. There was the great horned serpent, and he was a feathered serpent as well. And we say the horned serpent because he also had like protruding horns from the top, and he had 4 arms, and it was like a really long beast. Like it literally had like a lizard tail at the end, kind of like a giant like iguana almost, like in that sense. And it would just swim around and literally pull whole like canoes down if it was angered, or like say it trash up like hunters that were trying to go and hunt it. It would just slash all those boats and then spin really fast in the water deeply and just sink people down into the water. And even like people nowadays, like swimming in the lake, like from time to time, every now and then they go missing in the lake because I say that horned serpent pulled them down, right? Like it's like it drowns people if there's not like any prayers done or anything like to people. If there was no prayers done for the lake to protect people in that sense, like there was no offerings, because there usually is, and people do still do a lot of the offerings to this day for that and to protect the nations. And when you do that, those prayers, it usually like it equals like good fortune and like for the lands and the people living around and prospering off of that, right? So, but yeah, I figured I'd talk, and it was a big dragon. It was go gone, it was huge. It was a huge dragon.
All right, I want to thank W Decker for this awesome super chat. Thanks for your support, W Decker. Much love, much love. So let's see. Yeah, so man, I think the key in anytime I hear about someone who has visited a tribe or sat down with the tribe, did spend a significant amount of time just soaking up energy and soaking up knowledge, essentially, they always walk away from it enlightened. And I believe that there are definitely keys to what it is that we're trying to figure out. I mean, when you think about it, these are some of the most ancient people as far as a connected timeline going back thousands of years. So I believe a lot of people should take, a lot of what's said or what comes out of, the elders as, something very, very useful to the conversation. So I don't know what you think about that. I'm sure you agree, but I don't know how you feel about that.
Oh yes. That was one thing. All of 2021, I was able to. I had an awesome job that allowed me to work alongside the elders group and do a lot of, flute playing for them and taking them along places and setting up events for them to, bring out their stories and teachings like language classes and all sorts of things that 2021. And that year I actually was introduced to a lot of different elders who wanted to share with me their stories and their encounters, and some of them were even in the mission during that time. Some of them had a lot of strange encounters, like paranormal and also extraterrestrial. And that was a funny one when they told me that one. And yeah, like I said, and then there was another guy who told me he had a personal, like a really like wild experience with reptilians, and it was like more of a modern story, which was really quite interesting to hear that how they're just hybrids and live amongst us, and they could just look as, you know, like just as like one of us human beings, but or even just as, you know, or more beautiful, right? Like, you know, and they can hypnotize people and make them fall in love with them, and or they can even like you know, like I said, this guy said he was kind of used for like a hybridization kind of deal. Like they used him to take his, you know, and make more of them, more, and yeah, just like kind of wild stuff. But anyway, as I was saying, with all that though, with the elders' teachings and whatnot, though, is it comes from also to like in the ceremonies, like when you're there and you live the life and the walk, I should say, the ways, and you know, you're able to attend like a star lodge, or you're able to attend these like moments in time, you know, when you are when the universe sees you fit for that, right? And then it's kind of like, you know, like a blessing in that sense. You get to go and experience those teachings or those stories, or I should say those ceremonies in that sense, if you're part of it, or doing, or, you know, in doing the ceremony yourself, or like not doing yourself, but like being there, like going through it, is what I meant to say.
What is the, you know, from the inside, what is the general outlook on our future, as far as like where, so I'm sure there's no such thing as a disclosure process from the inside, because it's already been told that these things exist for many years. So what is the actual perspective of you know, from the outs, from the inside looking out at the rest of society, who sits up and worries about a disclosure process, and where we go from the point of disclosure forward? Like, what is the, how is that viewed from the inside? Like, are we just looking at everybody like, man, you guys are crazy, these things have been here, we've known this for all this time? Like, what is the real outlook from the inside?
Oh, it was for us. It was kind of, it was nice to see that everyone was starting to see that their existence was real again. You know, it was for us, it was very relieving in that sense. We're happy, you know, that you know, we're going to be reconnecting with a lot of these connections, and we feel that the prophecies are coming true, in the sense that we were all to go from the fourth world into the fifth world, and there was going to be a whole new existence of our race, and we're supposed to be back with the space brothers and sisters, and be a part of that the galaxy and the universe again. And yeah, it's a big thing, you know. And but as long as we like take care of like the earth, and we all vibrate at that higher level, and like the higher vibrational level, you know, that's what connects us to them, because they're already there, they're already at that level. But they don't, you know, it's kind of hard for them to come back down, because that's just like reversing all the work that they've done for their existence. They don't want to take like over ours or anything. Like, they just want us to elevate ourselves, so we can be more of a, I should say, an existence in this galaxy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's actually awesome, you know, and I'm glad I asked you that, because I think that's important for people to know, how, you know, that they're from the inside. There's like almost from what you're saying, like a sense of relief that finally everyone else is kind of coming to terms with the things that have been spoken about, you know, for generations. And you know, that makes a lot of sense, and it actually makes me feel good to know that too, because you know, I think one of the, and just going back to what I said earlier, I just feel like with the way society is, and when you at one point in time, if you look deep back in history, we all came from some sort of tribe or clan, going all the way back, but majority of people here on earth have lost that connection. So it's kind of makes me feel good to know that the ones that are still rooted to these tribes and these original, with the original origins of us as humans, that it's almost like we're coming back home almost, right? As far as waking up and understanding where we're at and what our place is. So it's actually a beautiful thing when you look at it like that. And it really makes me feel good knowing that that's how it's being looked at from the inside. So definitely just wanted to say that. But I did have a question about, I'm sure you're familiar with like Skinwalker Ranch, right? We know
Yeah.
there's the tribes in that area, and these are the folklore of these particular tribes. Is there the equivalent of a Skinwalker, or would that be the Wendigo, or would it be, or is there something else, that would more align with what a Skinwalker is?
All right. So so when I was asked this question, I thought you guys did like when I first was ever asked about this, I kind of thought you guys were talking about like the Wendigo at that time. But now that I've been like hearing more and more about your guys' descriptions of like skinwalkers, is like it's almost like you guys are referring to them as shapeshifters.
Right.
Yeah. Is that what you guys are referring to them as, or are you guys referring them
Essentially,
to?
that's what we know of them as, right? That's what
Yeah.
how it's been explained to us, is that they're shapeshifters.
Yeah. There was like a lot of clans, like the snake clans were able to take forms of snakes. There's a few people like in our area that were like he was a very powerful medicine man. He made his travel into his journey into the next life, but he was able to transform into a coyote, and his name was Boggy Slough, and that's where he lived alone, was by a boggy slough. He lived in a little cabin, and he'd always walk the tracks and go into town, and and people knew him, like as he was able to shapeshift. Like the town actually didn't know him. He would go and eat at this little like restaurant, and people that didn't know him, they'd be like told about him, like hey, that guy, he can turn into coyote. And it was all figured out by the CN train drivers back at the time, because he'd be at the start when they'd enter into town, and then they'd have to travel like 15 miles to the next town, and he'd be like ahead of them all the time. He'd be waiting at the next thing, just and there was like only wagons and carts back then, right? So, and he didn't have a horse, so they were like, how is he doing this all the time, right? But then they started noticing a coyote running along the train, and then my my dad's dad actually followed the coyote tracks home to see if it really was him, right? And he did see the tracks. They're getting home in the snow, and then they turned to human and walked in, and he laughed. He knew he was doing that. The coyote, he was actually becoming one and doing that. And but yeah, that was a kind of like a gift. That was a connection, a gift from the spirit of the coyote, because he was so like, I should say, yeah, he was so connected to his animal totems and his guardians that's what they ended up, I should say, like allowing his abilities to become, well, one of his abilities. The dude had many different things. He was a very interesting guy, but that was one of them. And so like, and there was another dude. I'm just trying to remember his name was. Can't remember his name, but he used to always run away from the Mountie police back in the day and turn into a deer. And yeah, and there's like actual history like Mountie police documents saying they chased him into a cave, and only a deer came out, and they went search the cave and didn't find him. And then, so like, I'm just, what I mean, like there's a lot of these tales where people have like shapeshifted, and a lot of times it's I should say it's usually a deep connection with their guardian spirit or their animal spirits that allow them to do that. And a lot of times too, when people do that, they'll just become it, and they won't turn back to human, because they'll just enjoy that life and living out in the wild. It's people that can, like, for example, there's old medicine men when it, it was like they said that they would go to this highest mountain and they would do a fast air vision quest, and the eagle would come flying by and tell them to jump and to fly with them. And he was there to pick them up, so they jump off and become an eagle and fly away. And it was like off the top of this like real high mountain, and it was because like a lot of the mountains are very spiritual zones, and yeah, there's like these like real wild stories of that, right? And yeah, so like shape-shifting is like just a part of our belief too, and it's not really looked down upon or looked in a bad way, unless like somebody's using it for like trickery. Then that's like, that's like the stories of Wasaki Chuck and how he'd like try to like steal the moon, and he tricked the coyotes to join him, and reptilians would just pretty much killed all those coyotes that were joining Wasaki Chuck trying to steal the moon. And because they owned it, right? They built the moon and all these like yeah, they have like a city there, and like I should say another life out there on the moon. And yeah, it's a pretty wild story, pretty wild tales that like tales of Wasaki Chuck and his trickery. And yeah.
So where does so if you were to ask an elder right now, what our path forward was going to be, like where we were going to end up, what is it that would usually, what is the thought process on that? What do you think how they would actually answer that?
Well, there's there's a lot of change in the world all the time, it's always in change. And the way I was told was that no matter how much it changes, that the teachings and the creation and the life of that will always remain here on this earth. No matter how much like anything happens, it will always stay. It will never go away. Like it's always going to live on forever. And that was like the most reassuring thing I've ever heard in my life. And what else was I gonna say? But to ask an elder, another elder for like say what the ancestors and the should say like the higher beings all say up there in the higher dimensions, that would take like, if you're gonna attend a ceremony, that would take like a tobacco offering and prints, which is like cloth for spiritual spirit. Like there's a lot of things that go along with the cloth and but yeah, you need to bring these kind of items to ask these questions, because that's that's just the way it was always done and the way it's meant to be done and forever will be. And yeah, it all means something. And colors too, you always want to bring white or blue, and that's yeah.
Yeah, man, I think it's really cool, and I think the key is definitely in the hands of elders. And it's just so savvy, because when you look from that point of view, and then you look outwards at everyone else, it's just humanity lost, essentially, right? Like so disconnected from where I think we need to all be. It's like we need to find a way to get back to being grounded, because society has set us up to feel like stories like this are just so wild and far off. But when you think about it, I go into this whole society thing, and I think this is just another example of why it probably has a more negative impact on humanity as a whole than we would like to believe. But and I recommend, and I know myself, I'm going to get more back in touch with the roots. You know what I mean? I feel like it's needed. I feel like it's necessary. And I just feel like anyone who has gone into a tribe, like I said earlier, and kind of just spent time, has always come out more enlightened and more in tune with just earth and just humanity on like a ground level, you know what I mean? So I think the value is so valuable, you know, that we even still have these tribes and elders to actually go to, you know what I mean, for knowledge and information. So I'm totally, you know, that's basically how I feel about that. So I had to say that. So um but with that being said, what I kind of want to do, because we're almost at the end of the hour, I want to get into you know, I heard that you get into like monster hunting and things of that nature. And then I want to kind of talk about some of the cryptids, Bigfoots, and just some of the experiences that you've had just in doing that. So, if you wouldn't mind, maybe kind of starting down that path right now, and at about 59 after, we're going to go ahead and go to commercial.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was always growing up and learning the teachings from my uncles, and they always carried the stories from my great great grandfather, and their father, who actually escaped the mission when they first started the missions up when he was a young kid. He actually escaped and ran away, made his way through the woods, tracked his way back to Headman Moostoos, who was staying in the trap line, and lived his days there and didn't go back to the mission school even that next year when they sent him back. Well, he went there and they were trying to take him back. He's like, no, you're not taking him. I didn't sign the treaty of make these mission schools, and this is not what I wanted for the people. And so he ended up all raising myself, and that's where the stories retained from that moment on, right? And they were passed down to my uncles and a lot of the teachings, and that's where I was like always growing up, and that's where they shared a lot of the times with me, right? And a lot of the stories with me, and so I retained as much as I can, and over the times, and experienced a lot of when they do a lot of their, I should say, doctorings and healings, and perform these, like, I should say, monster huntings or spiritual clearings. And I've had my own fair share of like dealing with demons and evil spirit possessions, and people, like even down to my cousin there, before his he got sick and passed away there. He was I should say, like, he was being possessed by this evil dark entity that was like would take him over, and I had to go there a lot of times and kind of take it out of him, and eventually it was gone, but it was too late. The dark entity did too much to his person, and he passed away. But you know, he did tell me, though, he's like, you're the only one that truly believed me and knew that this thing was really, trying to take my soul, and you're the only one that really tried to help me. And but like I said, I always tried to help a lot of the people around here, like even down to like when they needed me to clear houses and help them out from dark entities that were just like I should say running around the houses, and that's like what my uncle did too, right? My uncle Russell he would clear houses, and it was like almost like a exorcism for people's homes, and a lot of dark entities would be in them. Like a man buffalo eater spirit would be just running around the roofs and running to different rooms and back and forth while my uncle's in there praying with the smudges and the different, I should say, medicines in there. And then it was real bad one time. Like the whole family was watching, and it was actually our family's house, and the whole thing just like the whole trailer just broke, all the glass and everything, just every glass on every window smashed. And he come back out there, he's like, okay, yep, I gotta give it a moment here, and I'm gonna go back in. And he, like I said, he brought a buffalo hide in there, and he was able to trap it in that dimension and bring it out. And when he put it in the back of the car, it like moved, like it went down, like, and he shut it, and he's like, okay, I gotta go bury this somewhere and get rid of it, and keep the smudges going in there and all these like things, like, and we couldn't just go back in there for like 4 days, and like all these things, like we had to like do all these like procedures for it to go back in there. And so like I had a very young experience with all these I should say entities, and things that went on to clear them. Like even to a medicine man showed me how to build barriers to keep them away and keep them out, and a very ancient way of doing things like that. And then I do things for people too, like astrally and stuff like that as well. I do a lot of clearings, and that's another part of the way that it goes down, right? People clear things astrally and pull spirits out of others. Like Dave Scott had a porcupine in his back there. I was trying to tell him to get that removed.
So we'll stop right there, Dave Scott. If you're watching, we'll talk about that one later. And what we're gonna do is pause for the break. We'll be coming back here with our guest Travis Moostoos, and we've already gotten deep in hour one. We'll be getting even deeper and kind of jumping into the whole modern hunting aspect of this, as he's already started to elaborate on. So you guys just hold right there, and we will be right back for hour number 2 at Spaced Out Radio. There we go. All right. Welcome back to Spaced Out Radio after hour number 2 with me, your host, Mr. Rob G, and our guest, Travis Moostoos. We're going to be jumping into monster hunting and all sorts of great stuff here in hour number 2. But before we do, to all the space travelers out there, consider taking the next step and join the club. That's right. You can join the SOR Space Travelers Club for as little as $5 by joining our Patreon. Also, you can get some of that official Spaced Out swag at spacedoutradio.com. All right. So jumping back in with Travis, you were jumping into, the whole monster hunting aspect and in some of the ways that you go about it. And you mentioned, it can almost be compared to like an exorcism of evil spirits, essentially, right?
Yeah.
If you would mind continuing with that thought process and letting us know a little bit more.
All right. So sometimes too, like somebody will have like an ailment or something won't heal on their body properly, like even though they're taking the right medications and the right like prescribed things for them, which they still would take during like the treatments and stuff like that my uncle would give. And a lot of times, like, though, it would be their spirit was like hindered by another like entity attachment, whether that's some sort of dark animal spirit, or if that was some sort of like dark force, like human spirit, or some dark force demon, or like a dark force, like sometimes even like the reptilians or different things like that are attached to some folks. And or sometimes even like things are on people so they don't heal well, like I said, there's like porcupine quills and things like that sometimes that are stuck on people, like get like on their spirit bodies. And so like doing the prayers and like getting rid of those, and things like that's usually what happens like during the ceremonies or healings, like is getting rid of these attachments. And then usually normally people are able to heal from their stuff, like their medications and what they're being prescribed. But mainly it's like a spiritual thing that they're not paying attention to. And there's other guys out there I've seen like that do this kind of work, but it's not like but they just do it like through like they'll have like different kind of guardians come in and help them, like in that sense. But we use a lot of the earth like elements and I should say that kind of connection with the universe, right? That's how we operate.
Right. So, and what we're going to do as well, I just want to make sure I remind everyone, because we have a set of questions already saved for Travis. But please, if you have questions, any more questions, put them in all caps. Leave them in the chat, and right around the half-hour mark, a little after, we'll start going into those questions. So I was going to ask you, Travis, it's listed that you're also a UFO and paranormal investigator. So what type of experiences have you had as far as sightings, maybe, or any contact with any of these ETs, or do you have anything along those lines that you could share with us?
Yeah. I've had like this dimensional frequency like encounters where I've seen them flying in the skies, like, in their crafts. There are many different kind of crafts. They're not just the same things. Like I've seen plasma ones that almost like just look like a star, like that would say that'd be like the Akakosa Kaskiki, like the star spirits. That would be them. And then I've actually seen some that actually have like a cube shape when you put it through I should say, what are those called? It's like a filter that helps you see like embossing app. That's what it's called, and it helps you see all the details of all like the ridges and things that are in the sky.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing there, you can't see anything, right? But you get these cubes. I like to call them the cubes of power, and it's pretty wild because there's like. I do have pictures of them, but I don't know how well it will work for my if I was to try to show them here or whatever. But yeah, like so I'm doing my best to describe them. So like cubes of power. I've seen some that actually look like horseshoes and Yeah, I want to grab my pictures and show you some of them, but
Yeah,
yeah.
you
Anyway,
can try to do that. If I'll try to bring you up larger, and then if we might be able to see those.
okay, 1 second then.
Yeah, Travis is going to grab the receipts, guys. So we'll patiently wait for him to come back with receipts. We love receipts, man. I think if people have receipts out there, they should definitely bring receipts. And make okay, yeah, definitely. Tomato has posted Travis's channel. Definitely, please consider subscribing to Travis's channel. Blue Lightning Cards. And make sure you get those questions in. Don't put them in at the last minute. You know, you run the risk of not being able to get to them within the time frame. So get them in early if you can. Yeah, as Travis looks for those guys. So yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about what he's talked about so far? You know, let's consider trying to reconnect with our ancient past, right? That sounds like an awesome thing to do. And I think it's something that we should really consider. All right, we got them back here. Okay. Yep. So you can try to show them, and I will.
All right, so this one was like, this one I was just like I said, I was just describing the cubes of power. See if I had the other picture with me. The last guy I was showing them to, he was kind of putting them all back in unordered fashion. But anyway, the cubes of power. You can see that.
Bring that up here really close.
So you can see that little, like the the right corner there, right angle. Yeah, perfect angle, by the way. And then you can see all the little plasma energy floating around it there in the sky. And if you can get, I don't know if it could get real close, but all those little indentations are its energy, like cube squares, like that's why I see cubes of power.
Wow. And this is an image that you use that you embossed, right? That's what you embossed.
Yeah. But it was like, it looked like a light in the sky. Like it looks like, it looked like just like a, like, and then another one, like I said, was this one. And it was kind of, this one's the actual, like how I seen it. It was like flying in the sky. It looks like a plasma ball, like a star spirit. And like I said, it was more or less like that. Like that's why I say it had the form of a plasma. And so it started building up. It started getting better. And then I started seeing bowl craft. This one I call the bowl because it actually has like this kind of round bowl shape to it.
Yeah, I see that.
And here's the embossing of that, better embossing of that. So you kind of see like the bowl of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The bull.
Sure.
So, and then it started getting cooler because then they started like coming around during like northern lights and stuff, right? So this one was just flying along out there. So this is how it looked in the distance. So you can see the other stars in the background there. But this one, you can totally clearly see this guy just, you know, this one I call the horseshoe craft. Look at its little bend. Anyway, let's get a little closer to that. So, wham! And this is a little bit more of a enhanced, like I zoomed it in a little bit more.
Did it maintain that shape, or was it like
more? Yes.
Okay.
It was going across the sky, like following along the northern lights like that. And I was like, ooh, there it is. Look at it go. And then here's the embossing of it. Wow. Isn't that cool? Isn't that wicked?
Yes. That's crazy.
But yeah, and then here's another one of the embossing where it's just a little bit further back, kind of, so you could see that, you know what I mean? That.
Yeah. And our guy W. Decker said he had captured the exact same image, the first one that you showed.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And then so one night I was sleeping and I woke up to this, like, it looked like, I thought it was a helicopter going by. I was just gonna ignore it. And then it just kept sticking around. So I was like, what is that? And I got outside and it started going by, like started like flying, right? Like it started going. I was like, no way. So I ran out and I ran out there and I was just taking pictures with my phone as fast as I could. And I snapped this one first of it. I don't know how good I could get this one. This one's a little darker. And now I'm all hyped up. But, you can see that three little lights there in the sky.
Yeah.
And then it gets a little bit better here because like I ended up snapping. You can see it kind of like in the corner there.
Wow.
And then here it is. Like I zoomed it in here to get this one, but you can actually like make out the three lights like in a triangular formation like that.
Wow.
But
that's
we
awesome.
don't see this, but the embossing does. There's like a third part in the middle of it flying. But that's it in its cloak, yo. Check it out. You ever see a cloaked UFO before? Feast your eyes.
Does it seem like so it seems like three separate craft, or did you say
no, that's
all three lights?
It has like some sort of cloak going, or some sort of device, or it's hiding in some sort of frequency, and those are like its lights like underneath, because it was like all moving like in one. It looked like an object, like
wow,
like it looked like it from the naked eye, like from where I was standing and whatnot.
That's awesome, man. And it's great that you have receipts, man. That's why I would say, man, if you're not, you should, especially if you haven't seen anything, you have a camera on you, kind of look up sometimes, and you never know what you might see. And then just be prepared to hit the camera clicker and take a picture of what you saw. So that's awesome, man. So some of those were those just random situations where you caught these, or were these part of your investigations?
These are moments like a few of them that the first couple I was starting to capture, like the plasma one, the star spirit one. We were like kind of like intending it, like we were putting a lot of intention into it, like we're doing a lot of like we're trying to like connect with them on a kind of like a psychic kind of level, like we're trying to connect with our existences and call them down to us, and so it was like kind of like one of those moments, and then like I said, the other one was a random one, like where I just woke up and I saw that. Like I said, a lot of times it was because like we're outside, we're just enjoying the sky, the stars, and are like looking at the northern lights, or we're out there during celebrations and ceremonies, and and just keeping that higher vibration, which really allowed us to reach that higher frequency level, to connect with that and call them out, or to even be allowed to take pictures, or things like that of them. And like there's a few videos, like I had a few videos of one during the day where it was just flying by and stopped over the tree line and just chilled out for a few moments. And Dave Scott had seen that one. He was like, that's probably the best UFO video I think I've seen. Like, I was like, told you, man, like it's, and they're flying around, they're out there, and
definitely.
yeah.
And then
So
just
like
to kind of go off of what you just said, because we have a viewers asking what device sees it. She's not understanding what you were saying as far as the effect you were using. And so I was just explaining to her that it's you're taking a picture of these objects, and then afterwards, when post processing, you're using an effect or a filter to bring out the details of it.
Yeah, embossing. That's what it's called.
Exactly. Okay.
And it brings anything that's like physical, anything with like ridges, it'll bring it out forward. And if there's nothing there, you'll see like this like emptiness that just looks like just like a static, what I mean? There's nothing there. That's like the space, like that space there. Like,
Exactly.
So that's what helps out with that and improve those. So like if you have any existing UFO photos and whatever, you can check that out too, right? Or if you've taken stuff yourself, you could run it through that. for yourself.
I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I actually had a pretty cool sighting, and I'm gonna do that with mine. I didn't think to use that filter, but yeah, you're right. It does anything with edges on it. It brings forward and kind of makes stand out. So
Yeah, that
yeah,
right angle, perfect right angle. Big
exactly.
platform ship, which is another one I was trying to look for here. Give me a second, because there was another one that we had from in the area, and it was during the day one. I'm just trying to see if I have that one still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. There was like one during the day, and it looked just like a clear platform in the sky, just like flying over in the clouds. It was just like a silver flat platform. I don't think I got it though. I don't think I have it on me. I think I threw it to. Yeah. I don't think I might have. Yeah.
Take your time looking for that, and I'll tell the audience once again.
Go ahead.
I am marking your questions down, guys, just so you know. So Big J21, I have your question. Derek Galloway, I have yours. And let's see. I was able to catch Simon the Likeable, Mike Bothwell's questions. Ange, sorry, President Zaddy. And yeah, so those are the people that I have saved questions from. If I missed your question, if your name wasn't just mentioned, consider re-putting it back in here so I can go ahead and save it. And we'll be asking those in about 10, 15 minutes here. And do like Derek Galloway says, Hulk smash the like button. I don't know where we're at on likes because I can't see them, but let's get them up. They can never be too high. So consider hitting that like button. If you are here for the first time and you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. We do this here 7 days a week, Monday through Friday. You get the captain of the Woo Train, Dave Scott. And then on the weekend, you'll see Mr. Rob G holding it down. Okay, holding it down Saturdays and Sundays. So make sure you guys consider doing that. Go get some swag. Let's see. Consider joining the Space Travelers Club. And okay, so yeah, no, we need to get those higher. 60 likes, 61. Come on, let's get them up, guys.
All right, so this one was the one that was wait, I don't know if I could switch my camera around. I don't know if I can actually. I don't know if I can. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, you're trying to flip it to the back camera.
I got it. Yeah, right, I'm trying to flip it to the back camera. So there it is. That's the one that was just flying over, and it was just like a square.
Wow.
Existing, like just a platform that just flew by. And it kind of has this little dent on the bottom. That I don't know what that's about, but there's like a little tiny dent there. But you can see that square though, right?
Yeah, it was just definitely.
It was just a metal platform.
Jeez, dude, that's epic right there. That is epic, actually. You hear that a lot about, and you saw this with your naked eye, and then went ahead and took the photo, right? So you saw this with your naked eye. A square flying through the sky. That's crazy. That is awesome, dude. That is awesome. That is awesome.
So I figure I'd show these things that are out there, right?
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I mean, that's what we need. That's what we need. We need, because you hear stories like that. You hear people will say they've seen things like that, but where are the receipts for it? And it's just good that you have a good collection of receipts. I'm glad that you do, man. Really. Yeah. Bob Marley says trippy. And says cool as beep. Lightwalker says that's cosmic. Tomatman says whoa. Jessica says fantastic shot. Yeah. Wow, a square from Susan Alloway. Exactly. Yeah, so you're bringing it home. So with that being said, yeah, I mean that's awesome. What about your investigations or no, let's do this. Your personal encounters with things like cryptids. So do you have any stories about, being out somewhere and running into some sort of something you couldn't explain?
Uh, well, I've had my fair share with like I should say we've heard a lot of the Bigfoots around in the area, and there was one time we were doing the ceremony, and I believe I told Dave this story, but right after we were done it, Bigfoot was there to let us know his presence, and it was like he just snapped the tree. There were like four of them, and they're like it was like very distinctly, like no bear would do that, and very big trees too. Like they wasn't like just some cheap little snapping small trees. These were huge, big, massive trees breaking down, and then my uncle was like, "Oh yeah, that's him." Like because he did four, that means he's here to come and watch over you guys and keep all the negative spirits away, like as a guardian, while we're here looking, like doing our ceremony and our vision quest, I should say. And that time too is very, very, very interesting. And I just heard little people in the woods there, little laughs, just like scattering around, like they were coming to bug me and stuff. And yeah, and and during ceremonies too, like there was one time uh the Star Nation just came right down into us, like right down into like the right into the lodge. Like it didn't even need, like it just like it entered in through the energy and was just flying around this like pink orb, and then it like landed right beside me, and there's just like it was like a pink, you could see like the pink face and everything. I'll show you. I have a beaded necklace that was beaded just for this, because I only, like when I wear beaded stuff, it's what I believe, right? This is my beliefs. And this
Okay.
yeah, and this is the one that came down. This was the big healer, and that was actually what came down and helped people in the sweat lodge. And that's, they're telling me that it just came, sat there beside me, and it just started glowing that area. And then after the round was done, it left. It went back up, and then the door was open. And after we were done praying and whatnot, and the guy, the Scopios brought, was bringing in more lava rocks into the sweat lodge, and he's like, "You guys should have seen this." It was just this. It was the most incredible thing. Like it was just like it just, this cloud just flew over, and it was like this energy was just distorting. Like when you see, like you look in the like horizon there, and there's like all these heat waves, like the heat wave like
Yeah.
distortion. And he said it was just like, looking like that, but the trees were looking all wavy, and the leaves and everything, like. And like, because we do our ceremonies in the daytime, right? And that's how he's like seeing all this. And he said the cloud was over, and it, like it was coming, that it came down through that energy, and they didn't even need like they just used the cloud ship.
Yeah, you hear that a lot too. You hear that same description of like the aerial school kids who had that encounter in Zimbabwe. They mentioned that same sort of heat wave effect. So
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know, that's a thing, obviously, but that I haven't had personally any encounters, and that's why it's always so exciting to hear other people's encounters, because I say this all the time. I ask myself, would I want that to happen? Like, how would
Yeah.
I, react in a situation like that? I just don't know. But you did mention, as you just said here, the Bigfoot is what you call the guardian of the forest.
Yeah.
So when you go out and you have these encounters, are you specifically going out for these encounters, or are you happen to be out and it kind of just happens?
Sometimes sometimes it's meant to happen, and
Mm,
other times, if you stumble on them, it all depends on like what your intention. Like if you're there and you're in a peaceful state in the woods and whatever, usually they don't bother anyone, but they'll make their presence known if you're out there hunting, and they'll keep you off their land or away from people, or if they have like young around or whatever, right? Like they'll make themselves known, or they'll cut off trails, or put stuff up like barriers, like, you know, to like not, you know, to tell people to stay away, you know, from scaring people and whatnot. And but other than that, though, like I said, most of the time, like we respect them. They have their boundaries, and they live in the secluded areas. And yeah, like I said, when they come in, like, as they have their own spirits and their own ceremonies and their connections to the land too, so that's how they make their way into our ceremonies and lodges, is because that's what we're just connected with, is four corners of the universe and the earth. And that's really what it is going back into the womb of the mother earth, right? Is going into that sweat lodge and reconnecting with like the earth and being that again in that energy. So, you know, it's just right place that Bigfoot can just portal through and come through and speak and telepathically talk to people, or become a guardian of them, or give them the name of a Bigfoot. And there's a lot of chiefs that had names of that were called Bigfoots, and that's just they were part of that clan, Bigfoot clans. And also too, with a lot of the guardian of the forest thing too, is they're, I should say, they'll leave things for people too. Like they'll tell them where to like where to have the vision quests, or they'll have certain areas for them. Like they'll let them know where like medicines are, or different things in that sense. So it's, you know, a very, very deep connection to the Mr. Napwheel, a big man, as we like to call him.
All right, so let's do this. Let's jump into some of these viewer questions here. Let's grab one from Simon the Likeable. Asks, do the native tribes believe in life contracts and reincarnation? Sorry, I have no experience with this stuff. Thanks.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of that going on too. Sometimes if you're you know, what you're meant to do isn't done, you know, a lot of times people will have, like, you know, they'll stick around, or they'll you know, come back to try to do it again, like to finish off what they were meant to do, because like they're, like you said, soul contracts. There's certain things people are meant to become or do or teach, or, you know, or bring to you know, I should say the world, in that sense, themselves including. So it is, there's like times, like there are stories where there were like native warriors that were like slain in battle, and then they'd come back as a kid and remember where all their like items were, like where their bow was, their axe was, and all their like, you know, where it was buried in the ground, or, you know what I mean? Like they'll remember all these things. You know, there's other people who are extraterrestrials that are here now, you know what I mean, that are like I said, we're all star people, you know, but there are some people who were like actual like extraterrestrial, like from a different planet and spirit, and then they come here, they were born here to bring healing and, you know, the light of that to this earth, and make those connections. And like I said, like it's part of being ourselves, and a part of this universe, and we're all part of like this universe, like I said, and making that connection with it, like you're saying, getting more grounded and finding that path within ourselves. And, you know, things like the synchronicity of the universe, like I said, sometimes these things, they're meant to happen like that, you know. And you find these encounters. And for my grandfather, my mom's dad, he literally did see the great horned serpent, and it ran right into the lake. And, you know, and for him, that was like the big teaching moment, and where he started learning like more about all the, you know, questioning all of the beings and all the, you know, the reality of all that, and getting the teachings from, you know, his dad's dad, you know, when he went to live with him out in the woods there in the trap line. And that, like I said, it's just been carried on ever since. And yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome answer. So let me ask you this. We have Mike Bothwell, who asked Anine Travis, during the sweat, how many stone rocks did you last when they put in it on the thingy? Thank you.
Yeah, there was like about 98 rocks in there. It was up there. It was up there. Yeah, it was up there. And we did about 8 songs or so, and
wow.
yeah, it was good. It was really good. And for the whole, like I said, the whole with the ceremonies and the star nations and that connection with the universe and finding that purpose. It's just a matter of like, how should I say, like you gotta really like be connected with all that, like the star nations, and really believe in all that, like 100%. Like it's not like it doesn't turn off, you know what I mean? And it doesn't stop. Like this, all these teachings and beliefs I carry with me every part of my day, every time, like everywhere I go, it's a part of me no matter what, it's so like that's where I'm at. Like it's not like I'm just like I'm choosing to believe these things. Like it's really my existence, and right till like even after, like when I die, like I'll have to go and fight one of these like serpent kind of dragon things to get to the afterlife, so I can reach the North Star portal and portal to the universe, and all that kind of deal, man. Like it's like there's all these like it's a really embodiment, right, of it. So
Man, dude, that's heavy. That's heavy right there, man. And I'm gonna ask you this one. This is Derek Galloway's question, and it kind of spins off this last question here. Derek asks, "What is the longest Travis has been in a sweat tent?" And I guess more importantly, what did you see during the ceremony?
there's a lot of different a lot of different times I've been in these ceremonies, and we do usually do about we'll do like 4 rounds or so, and and then during those rounds we'll do, depending on like what's the ceremony's for or whatnot, like there'll be more prayers and songs, or in different things like that in that sense. um Sometimes it's like sometimes it's a teaching one, and you're in there for teachings or hearing stories, or hearing the real ancient tales, like, so which I can't share here on this channel, but like I said, some of the real it's told in the language, and right down into the yeah. But
Yeah.
it's like I said, there's protocols and procedures to earning that, and to being a part of that, or hearing those things, like in that sense, and certain offerings people have to make to not just the medicine man, but the spirit world. Like it's to the spirits, right? It's not to the medicine man in that sense. Like when people say like, "Oh, you got to make an offering," like, or you got to bring an offering to the medicine man, it's because that medicine man's going to use that what you're bringing, so that like the spirits can hear your prayers, or give to get to well, give you your information, right? Give you your knowledge, or whatever you're asking for, right? And it all depends on like how much like you really are connected with it, and that meaning for it, right? Like or it will come over time, or these things, right? It will, like, they'll help you, right? Like the spirits will help guide you in that sense, like, and to find it. Like it won't just be download or given like real wildly. Like sometimes it is, but like what I'm getting at though is like that's like a real like a lot of times when those visions, those like real deep downloads that happen, is like when you're out there 4 days, like on a fast, and that's like in our timeline, that's like 8 days, because it's you're spending the day, the time of day, and then the time of night, which is the night, the night sun, right? So it's like 2 days, like we would have considered it. And so spending like the span of 4 days, but it's like in the spirit world be like 8 days, right? And that's like no food or water, and like these things are like really dedicated things, like prayers go into this, and it's like there's no like there's certain protocols that have to go down, like before people do those kind of things. And it's not like people like how they think like, oh, I'm just going to stop eating and drinking for 4 days and still walk around all over and do all these like everyday life kind of thing. It doesn't work like that. Like it's totally different. Like it's like a actual like ceremonial thing. And same thing with like star lodges or star vision quests, like that are totally way different than what most people think they are. And that's where a lot of times people will get picked up by a light will come down and just pick people up, and they'll be up in the ship with the star nations. And
Awesome stuff. Awesome answer too. I'm gonna ask you this one, and this is the way that this is worded, and I'm gonna ask the question as it is, and then maybe ask it in a way that might pertain more to the tribe. So President Zaddy is asking, have you ever used Jesus' name to cast out demons? And so I guess in relation to the tribe, what name do you call upon, or what spirit do you call upon when it comes time to cast out these evil spirits or demons?
Yeah, see, it all depends on like the universe, right? Like that's usually what we call upon is the highest of the universe, and sometimes they'll even call upon like the thunder spirit, like the thunderbird. You know, and then what? Well, sorry, we'll actually have to speak the traditional names of these beings or know them, right? In order to like, because they, they won't understand English, or well, like, the intent is like you want to speak to them in our language, just more respectful in that sense, right? And what was I going to say? There was yeah, sometimes, like I said, it's the thunderbird spirit that has to come down and cast away like some of these larger entities, or some of these like reptilian beings. Like, it scares a lot of them away and sends a lot of them down into the underground. And there's a lot of those tales of that, and there's a lot of tales of like Bigfoot himself, like helping out people and keeping them protected. Like, there's a few stories of like you use a lot of your animal guardians to come and help you out too, right? And those that, like I said, the eagle guardians spirits, the thunder spirits, all those things, like helping out people in battle, and there's a lot of that going on. So it's not, it's like, it's funny when they brought up Jesus though, because like I'm pretty sure like I'm trying to remember like the name, the actual name, like his real name. I don't know if it was Yahweh, or I don't know what his real, like, the actual name was, but
I think it is Yahweh. I think it is.
Or Yeshua. I think it was Yeshua.
Yeshua as well. Yeah.
Well, one of those, there's like one of those names that actually, like, you'll find the actual, like, you find it in our star language. You find his name in there too, which is kind of funny about that. And a few others, like you'll see a lot of the other, like, Ra, and a few of the other like not like the Nagas and stuff like that, Naga, and a few of the, like, the snake beings and dragons and Gulkans, and which is like life and death, or whatever, Gulkan, like dragon life. And yeah, it's like all these, like, there's all these different names in there, but like there's a lot of that I see, like, when I kind of like look through it now, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting that that's there. Or there are these tales of it, right? Or seeing like I said, the dragons and whatnot. And
awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Actually enlightening too. Simon the Likeable asks, do the native tribes have abduction stories, or is it just modern day?
No, there's a lot of them. They'll like come pick up a lot of, like, I should say, a lot of the medicine people, the star people, and they'll go up there and, like, help out with ceremonies, and bring back, like I said, trinkets and different kind of, like, crystals that were able to tell, like, the tales of the early beginnings of our time. And there's a lot of these alien stories where, like I said, reptilians were taking people down in the inner earth, and also too with the little guys coming down and actually picking people up, like, or dropping some of their own off to be to grow up raised in the tribes. Like, there's a story of a lady who lost her son in battle, or her husband and son in battle, and then she was mourning, and she moved away from the tribe and lived in the forest, and the Star Nations dropped her off, a star kid, and it was just left in a traditional swing there. And when she walked back in her teepee, and she ended up becoming, like, it brought her peace again and happy, and she moved back to the tribe because she couldn't care for it by herself, right? So, and then the tribe welcomed her back in, and they ended up, like, he became just like regular everybody, like they were hunter, and running around, and and then eventually they did come back, and they came down from, I should say, they came down from the stars, from the north, and they ended up picking up the woman and the kid, because the woman didn't want to leave the kid, well, let it go, right, or let him go, so she went with them. And that was like one of those kind of wild tales where, you know, the woman goes back to live with the extraterrestrials. And there's other times when, you know, where they actually get picked up. Like the hunter was in love with a Pleiadian woman, and they wanted to live on Earth. Like the woman wanted to live with the hunter on Earth with their kid, because he ended up falling in love. And the Pleiadian elders are like, okay, well, if you want to live on Earth, how about we live as a new existence? So they all were transformed into white animals. Like they became like white spirit animals. They had to, like, they shapeshift into like white hawks, and they were flying around. And you know, like that one Pleiadian elder became a white buffalo, and like all these, like, there's all these like little things, like, yeah, there's all the yeah, they were able to, like, they're transformed too, like the Pleiadians. And that's another thing, a big tie to it is like the Seven Sisters, and that connection from them, and those people that came down from there, and our ancestry and cousins, like relatives to the Pleiadians as well, right? And there's like all those stories of that, like that's where like a lot of the teachings, and I should say a lot of stories come from. How should I say it? Like a lot of like it's the seven teachings, and then you get it into the pipes there, and you also have it like the stars, the story, and the pipe in the sky too, right? Like the Big Dipper and whatnot. But that's where the pipe came from, was like the Pleiadian woman, the buffalo woman, calf woman, and she ended up giving all these I should say a lot of the three teachings and ceremonies, helping people connect with it again. And well, the buffalo pipes, and there's all these like real wild deep connections with the Pleiadians in that regard to them. So I just wanted to mention that, and also if if there's anything else I can answer.
Awesome. Yep, there is. Oh, excuse me. We have one from Big J21 asking, have you ever seen moving shadows in the woods?
All sorts of like you're talking about like the tree peekers, or those little guys. Well, sometimes they're big too, but they almost look like trees themselves, and they're able to walk around and peek out from the side of the trees and poke back in, and wow. You walk right past them. Like they're literally some of them look like stumps, like old trees, and some of them look like small logs, and different, like they have like little, like sometimes have some like fungal, like little things sticking out of them and stuff like that. Like I said, mushrooms, and like they look like forest creatures, like forest. Yeah, and then there's the other little guys, the forest folk, which are they're not like they're almost like little, like that movie. Like the best way I can explain it is like that. Harry Potter. There's that one that little guy, the Dobby guy with the long nose that. Yeah, there's little dudes like that live out there, and they just they live in little caves, and they come out at night and check out the area and hunt, and find food, and whatever they can scurry and survive with. They've been known to live out there in the woods too. And
those tree creatures you're talking about sound horrific. I don't want to see one of those, but
they're usually friendly. Like like I said, the name, like the tree peeper, tree peekers. Like I said, they're usually they stay off from the distance, and like they're kind of like, they give you that vibe, like something's watching you out there, and you turn around and you kind of catch them, looking at you or moving, out of the way and stuff. Yeah, so like there's that, but
bananas. Yeah. And just asking you, are you able to show us the artwork behind you, and are they your art?
Yeah.
They are. Okay, nice.
I'm a writer, and I do paintings as well, and there's a cool one here. This is actually the legend I was just talking about there, where the ships were turned down from the sky. Yeah, you can see there. Yeah, the ships are turning down in the sky, and then all the native people there looking up at them, coming down.
Awesome. That
And then
is
I'll
awesome.
and then I have more of a colorful tone one, which is like kind of like a lineup of teepees, like in it would be Central America and North America, like kind of. And there's some UFOs flying in the sky over them, coming through a little where is it there, little portal off the side there. But yeah, you see all these teepees, and they're just really, really colorful, and you see all the mountains there in the background. Yeah, it looks almost like a
that is
yeah. So
awesome.
yeah, and they're all mine. I have tons of them that are for sale. Like I sell them and I send them across the world all over. The furthest I've sent a painting was like Australia, and I've sent a few to across Canada here down to America, and so I've sent paintings all over. And I was going to send one out to Africa, but buddy out there said the postal service was down or something like that. So I don't know if it's back up, but I couldn't send it out there.
Dude, this is awesome. Where can they pick up your artwork? You may as well tell them where they can get it.
I do have like a page on Facebook, Travis Willier, actor, writer, painter. You can get a hold of me there through that, or that's pretty much there. Or I have a book that's coming out tomorrow on Amazon, Kindle release, and it will be paperback, and I should say the internet version, the online version, the digital version. I mean.
Yeah.
But that will be called Fort Sunder, written by me, Travis Willier. And that'll be great. I'm excited for that.
There's 8 minutes left, so since that book is coming out tomorrow, why don't you go ahead and talk about it a little bit, and let's pump it up so we can get them to go get that tomorrow.
All right, yeah. This is the front cover of it. It's like giant skeletons. It's a fantasy novel that follows the lines of a guard of a mountain village, and it's based in the land of Nia. And he pretty much rises up to save the village from evil that's been growing in the Frosty Mountains. And so he rises up to save the village and the realm and everyone he knows, kind of deal. And it's a story of honor and friendship and courage. And yeah, it's really one of those kind of epic stories. And I was happy to write it and share it. It took me about a year to properly get it all in the right order and put it out and release it in this fashion. So I'm excited for that. So Fort Sunder, written by Travis Willier. Check it out.
You sound multi-talented, man. A lot of great knowledge, great energy as well. And one thing that I wanted to do was get this question in because in your bio does state you're an actor as well. So Derek Galloway does ask, what movies or shows have you been on?
I've done a lot of background work for tons of different shows, like including Last of Us. But like one of the I did like a lead role in was Secret History of the Wild West, and that's on the APTN Lumini. You can find it on there. It's a streaming service that's free to download, and you get a free subscription upon sign up. Like, so, you get a free month or whatever to check out the Secret History of the Wild West. And I'm on a few of those episodes doing background work, but I actually do a lead role there as Thunder Chief's brother in the episode. And what Secret History of the Wild West is like a Canadian history document. Every episode is a one-off episode of Canadian villains and heroes that shaped our brutal history. And it's really awesome. So you get a little bit of dramatization, and it breaks into like the trickster, played by Julian Black Antelope, a good friend of mine. He ends up talking and telling the tale of these guys, and it takes you right in, and it's amazing. Like, you guys will love it. There's everything in there, even a Wendigo episode in there too. So like I said, and it's all has a history in there. It's all lined up, and I've done other shows too, but I can't really talk about them right now just because of like they still have to be released, and I'm excited for that. And I got to be a zombie on Black Summer for Netflix. There was a Black Summer show, zombie show, and that was like one of my dreams because I got to be a zombie in the film, and so like, you
Yeah,
can see me
that's
as a
awesome.
zombie. but but yeah, no, like I said, and I've done short film projects and tons of like I said, just background, and got to meet a lot of different people and work in the industry, and a bunch of different departments from grip work to uh, right alongside with the acting and you name it, right? Like I was there helping out, doing a lot of the stuff and locations work and production assistant work and all sorts of like I've done few like it's out there. Like the work's out there, right? So
Right.
yeah,
Well,
it's fun. It's what it is what it is. When I can do it, it's great.
yeah, and it's awesome, man, because I'm a creative myself, so I appreciate the art and being able to create. So man, we're gonna have a lot of fun in the future, man, because we're gonna have to hook back up. W Decker
Yes.
is asking you, what is the title of the book again?
Fort Thunder. It's still like it's still going to be released. So that's why I said tomorrow for sure. It will be on Amazon. Fort Sunder, FORTSUNDER, written by me, Travis Willier. So it'll be written by Travis Willier. The front cover will literally be this forest scene of like warriors fighting the skeletons and in the Frosty Mountains, right? So it's an epic, right? And yeah, it was a pleasure to write, and I'm so happy I get to share that on here and talk about it. And so,
Yeah, yeah, I was unaware that you had that because we would have definitely spent more time with that. So let's set it up to get you back soon. And I'm glad that I met you, man. I love your energy, and I think I had a great conversation with you today, and I think that there'll be a lot more to come from this. So let's get together behind the scenes. You have my information, I have yours, and
yeah.
let's link this back up again.
All right. All right. Sounds great. Thanks for having me. It was such a pleasure to be here. And thank you to everyone that's watching now and in the future. Thanks for watching as well.
That is so awesome, guys. So, with that being said, let me go ahead and get this question into you because we do have 2 minutes left.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah, I thought you were
and
and kicking me out.
never, no, I'll let you know. I'll give you the cue.
Knowings are
Uh,
visions. Yeah, yeah. A lot of these. There's quite a few that I've done that were like I said, this one, the space station that I was able to visit, and that guy was leading me around. But yeah, this is like a giant space station. This area right over here is where all like the Arcturian libraries were, and that was a very interesting place. This is where all the what they told me was usually when people go there, they go hang out in these club areas, while these places where extraterrestrials all go hang out in like millions, I should say. But they had all sorts of personnel, military personnel in this security check area. They had places like pools for the amphibian aliens, extraterrestrials, I should say, and they had them like in ships that were able to be transported around in the station. They had all these like data, like I should say, like data holograms are like flying to the roof, and
right.
so like this library, right, that they brought me to, this Arcturian library. All those data streams are from their their data collectors when they're out in the universe and they scan things and all that. So like all that information is just like what's like in that, like just floating around in these holograms, and it's really cool to see all that light language and it pretty much funnels into all these like it's almost like crystal books, or like crystal like they look like books but they're like squares. Some of them look like metal until they're activated, and when the dude activated it, just went clear and just started doing like rings like that were like light, and they just like floated up like one after another like a slinky into me. and
And we got the last one here. Can Travis please explain the pyramid one that you have up there?
oh yeah, the water pyramid. Yes. Yeah, and it was like a stand for like how it was like an energetic life and energetic form. Also too, it was like the crystals, and the energy that flowed through them, like how they powered the pyramids and like and turned them on and stuff. And yeah, there's all that. Yeah, so
love it, man. Love how your mind works, man. You're tied in, you're interlaced in, and then you have the elders to fall back on to really get all the good, the real historic knowledge.
yeah,
You got a great package going on, man. So yeah, now I appreciate you. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna thank Travis for spending this time with us tonight. It was awesome. We're gonna do it again for sure. You can bet that. And what I want to do is pause for the cause. We're gonna take our last break of the night as we get ready to jump into the third and final hour, only here on Spaced Out Radio. Have a great rest of your night, Travis. I will be contacting you. Take care, man.
Yes. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Examaga. Till next time, that means.
Take care.
All for now. Yeah.
Guys, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio after hour number 3 with me, your host, Mr. Rob G. And for the final hour, we're going to just have some fun, just like we do, to get the weekend done with and get ready to jump into this sometimes hectic work week. I hope it's going to be a great week for you guys as we prepare to get next weekend's roster set up. Got some good ideas and some good things that we should be setting up down the pipeline. And this is After Hours is still an ever evolving show. So we are still fine tuning a couple different things. We have some people that we're bringing in to do different things. And Derek Galloway kind of alluded to something earlier. Before we jump into that, actually, no, we'll jump into that now. So there's a guest that has frequented Spaced Out Radio in the past. And let me make sure that I have his name here correct. So we are bringing in Mr. Brian Bowden, who will begin to join us on Saturdays in hour number 3 at the top of the hour. So like right now, but on Saturday. So he's going to fill in. What he's going to do is he's going to bring us like some UFO cryptid news for the first half of hour 3. So we're going to be doing that. That's going to be something new that we'll be doing consistently every week. And then, normally we have Bree in this spot right now for the paranormal. Unfortunately, she is not available for today's show. So what we're going to do is hopefully we'll have her going forward, and we'll see how that works out. But it's ever changing, and we are trying to get everything locked in so that, our hour 3 is exactly the way that I want it. In the last half of hour 3, we will always do something that engages the audience. So that is the plan going forward with After Hours. And just so you guys have a heads up, that's how it's going to work out. So with that being said, we're going to kind of just enjoy each other's company here in hour 3. We're going to try a few different things. Once again, I want to thank Travis for coming through. We did have a previous guest that we had set up, and Travis was gracious enough to step in at the last moment, kind of. So I want to thank Travis for doing that and for being an awesome guest. And because it was set up that way, I didn't want to ask too much of him today. Or I would have had him stay in with us for hour 3. But I didn't want to ask that because he's already been gracious enough to fill in, and I really appreciate that. So with that being said, let me go ahead and get our impromptu commercial up for our swag. So let's go ahead and talk about the swag again, man, because it's so important that you guys see this. And, I told Dave Scott, we're going to be setting up or creating some commercials. So you'll be seeing commercials that we're working on right now for the swag and for the Patreon and for some other things that Dave Scott has mentioned to you before. Van Gogh trivia. Yeah, we're going to get into some trivia here in just a few minutes here. So what we're going to do right now is just go over the swag. Like I said, impromptu commercial. We will be creating actual commercials for this that you'll start seeing coming up soon. So appreciate you guys hanging in and supporting the After Hours through these growing steps. But we plan on bringing you a top-notch, top-quality show. And we're almost there. We are almost there. And this is going to be, period, the place. It already is the place to be right now on the weekends. But it's really going to be a place that you're not going to want to miss. So with that being said, no ugly swag. We don't have ugly swag. Dave Scott coined the phrase, we don't have ugly swag. and it's true. So consider shopping today. We're in the shopping season. We're getting into, if you're in the United States, obviously we're speaking worldwide here, but if you're in the United States, this is the holiday season we're going into. So consider shopping today at spacedoutradio.com. We don't have ugly swag, and let's take a look at some of the stuff that we have here. So we have the Random Guy patch shirt. We have the Random Guy UFO shirt. Speaking of Random Guy, I haven't seen him for a while. So if you're out there, Random Guy, consider stopping by, man, and saying hello to everyone. We have the Alien Rocker Tee. We're going to be showing all these things and kind of going through creating a really nice commercial for all this. But we have the baby long sleeve organic bodysuit. Tell me which one of these you would consider purchasing and wearing, and we would love to have you take a picture in the merch so that you can submit it to the Spaced Out Radio website, and just, I don't know which one you would end up choosing. I tell you which one I would. On this page I'm looking at, I might represent for Random Guy, man, or you might find me in the Bob Lazar tee, man, because I believe Bob Lazar's story is true. The badass Merle tee. I might even rep for Merle, man. Merle is the guy, while wearing my Bigfoot toque, which is the Bigfoot beanie in the United States. And we have the Canadian Sasquatch tee. Let's see what we're doing here. We have the classic SORT. So that's the logo. Dave still uses that logo. And if you want to go retro, if you're from back when, Dave still had long hair and a long beard, this would have been the logo that they were rocking at the time. So in this one, I can't get over this one, but it's here. You see it right in front of your face. The Dave Scott Beard and Hair Awareness Draws. This still gets me every single time that these things exist, that they actually do exist. They are real. The Dave Scott Beard and Awareness Draws. You should just get some, even if you're not going to wear them. This is, more of something that you might put in a frame and get Dave Scott to sign these draws here. It's funny. We got the Dogman Let's Rock tee. And I'm sure you can get these things in different colors. Obviously, these are the ones that show on the website, but I'm sure there's different color options for all of these. You can get the El Ovni Volador tee, and let's make sure that we talk about that, because Dave Scott is not El Ovni Volador. He is not El Ovni Volador. Let's get that straight. We can get the FU Dave shirt, which we know is inspired by President Zaddy, Presidential Zaddy, if he's out there. That shirt, I'm pretty sure, is inspired by Zaddy. Then we have the Grand Tavius Max shirt, the muscle shirts, right? So you get it, it's real tight on your biceps there. You can kind of look real, muscly, kind of beefy, right? And let's get into other things we have here. There is anybody out there baseball tee. We got the kids Wendigo hoodie. And I'm going to be looking into Wendigo since that seems to be a real serious subject here. I really want to know more about it. Let's see. We got the ladies SOR Street hoodie. Okay. We got the Lip Blade shirt. I won't be getting that because as you can tell, I don't grow a mustache very well. So I won't be with the Lip Blade shirt, but I might consider the men's SOR hoodie in a different color, because I cannot keep white clean for some reason. I try, but I can't do it. The Merle shirt, that's a classic old school Merle shirt. I like that. I like the font. The Peak Woo shirt, especially for those days when we have the Peak Woo, when it's going into Peak Woo, right? Phoenix Lights concert t-shirt. Phoenix Lights, I know Tom King, that's my buddy. He's one of the guys who filmed the Phoenix Lights, and might have him sign that, man. That'd be an awesome thing to do. We have the shirt right here, which has to be for Julie Farrell, the Plethora Drink Baseball shirt. As we know, Julie is the official Plethora counter. So this shirt is for her, has to be. We got the Sasquatch USA tee. Okay. We got the short sleeve baby bodysuit. We have the SOR We Own the Night tee. I like that one there too. The Bluetooth speaker and wireless charging pad. That's out the box. I like that. SOR Classic hoodie. The SOR Coolio sleeve. We have the SOR Diner tee, the SOR Fade tee, and the SOR Fairy tank. And I still can't get over the SOR kicks, right? I like that. I like the color scheme. Those mid-top tennis shoes, I like those. We have the SOR logo sticker, the tumbler, the official SOR official t-shirt here. And we're going to be, adding some after hours merch to this list too. So after hours merch is coming soon with the logo, and just trying to formulate a few things, and those should be up pretty soon. We have the SOR round sticker. We have the SOR UFO tee, the SOR water bottle, Team Rock women's tank. That's pretty cool. I like that. The Team Stump women's tanks. I like both of those. The Cryptid Huntress Off the Trails tank. I like that one as well. Sassy Squatch tee. That's creative. I like that. We have the Tim Senor, the Tim Alien Woo shirt. I like that one too. UFO and Tacos tee. Let's see. Yep. The We Own the Night hats. We have the We Own the Night panties. We have the We Own the Night tee. I like the one on the far right. The far right, I like that one. Maybe in black or maybe a dark gray. We have the Women's Phoenix Lights concert tank. The Women's UFO and Tacos tank. Nice. The Women's Woo Train undies. We have the Woo Factor t-shirt. I like that one as well. And Woo Factor pillow. Can never have too many pillows. I'm loving that. We have the Woo Train boxer briefs, the Woo Train mug, and the You've Got Aliens shirt. Now you can get that for anybody in the family right there, the You've Got Aliens. That would be totally awesome. Once again, we don't have ugly swag. Shop today at spacedoutradio.com. Go ahead and show your support for Spaced Out Radio. Take a picture in the swag. Send it in so we can add that to the website. We're going to all be posting pictures of ourselves rocking this merch. So we're going to be on the page with you. And then we'll just, hopefully get hundreds and hundreds of submissions. That would be awesome. So jumping off of that right into our SOR Space Travelers Club. We talk about it. You hear us talk about it all the time. And you are technically already a space traveler. We all are. We're on this rock, literally traveling through space at thousands of miles per hour around the sun. So take the extra step and join the club. Patreon.com/SOR_space_travelers_club. And let's take a look at some of the plans. And these are works in progress, right? So this is what we have up. These are currently being rethought, and these are subject to change here in the coming future, in the near future. But as it stands today, at last check, and maybe we have more. Let me actually take a look. We may have more than this, but at the time of taking this, we had 36 members, and some of the plans that you can look at or pick up is $5 a month to get a tiny bit of Woo. You can get the Woo-tastic plan for $10. So let me just kind of go over this because we just kind of blazed through this before. So we have the tiny bit of Woo is a great way to support what we do on SOR on a nightly basis. With your $5 membership, you get a shout out on Spaced Out Radio along with getting your name added to the Space Traveler Scroll. That's a tiny bit of woo. Woo-tastic plan with this one, you get your name shouted out on Spaced Out Radio as well as your name added to the Space Traveler Scroll tab. You will also receive an autographed We Own the Night poster from Dave Scott and SOR stickers. The $15 Woo-tacular plan. Here you will get a shout out on air live for your love of space and support of Spaced Out Radio. Your name will be added to the Space Traveler Scroll. Also, you will receive an autograph We Own the Night poster and stickers. You will also receive 10% on VIP tickets for our next SOR fan party if you choose to join us in 2024. So obviously the benefit kicks in there because we know that's coming up May 10th through 12th in Reno. So you would definitely get a discount on tickets at that $15 level, the Woo-tacular plan. And we have Out of This Woo. You are unbelievable. Thank you for your love with this tier. You get your name added to the Space Traveler Scroll and the shout out on air by Dave Scott. You will also receive a t-shirt of your choice from the Spaced Out Radio store. You will also get 20% off of the VIP ticket for the 2024 SOR fan party. As well, you'll get a phone call from Dave Scott to chat about some serious woo. You must be a member for 3 months before the items will be shipped. We have the woo has landed and states, wow, you are an SOR super fan. We appreciate you with this tier. You get your name added to the Space Traveler Scroll, a shout out on air by Dave Scott. You receive a t-shirt of your choice from the Spaced Out Radio store. You will also get 30% off your VIP ticket for the 2024 SOR fan party, a personal piece of art from Dirty Filth. As well, you'll get a phone call from Dave to chat about some serious woo. That's awesome. That's an awesome one there. And we got the Truly Humbled, the Making Dave Woozy. You get truly humbled by your support of Spaced Out Radio. With this tier, you get your name on the Space Traveler Scroll. Shout out on air by Dave Scott. You receive a t-shirt of your choice from the Spaced Out Radio store. You also get 40% off on the VIP ticket for the 2024 SOR fan party as well. You get a phone call from Dave Scott to chat about some serious woo. But wait, there's more. You will also be able to be a special guest on an SOR roundtable. But as we do for you, you gotta bring your woo with you. Must be a member for 3 months before items will be shipped. And these things are being reworked and worked, and you know, obviously wasn't launched too long ago. So tiers may be added. You know, there's talks of different things. So keep your eye on this. Definitely join early so that you can take advantage of the benefits that you get by becoming a space traveler. So definitely do that over at patreon.com/SOR_space_travelers_club. Join the Space Travelers Club today. All right. Boom. Okay. So that was an impromptu commercial. You know, we're going to be creating ones to kind of go over this stuff that we can actually play during the episodes. But, you know, one of the things that I feel is like, hey, we hear about this stuff a lot, but we don't see it. You know what I mean? And that was a big thing. So I hope seeing some of this merch, you can see yourself in some of this merch. And we get to get your picture added to the Spaced Out Radio website. So with that being said, what we're going to do is go ahead and I don't know if Grandmaster UV is still here. Grandmaster UV was here earlier, but if Grandmaster UV is here, Grandmaster UV has a chance to regain the throne, regain the position. We're going to try to run through some quick. It says, nope, I don't see no Rob G. Beanie. No, not yet. No. Then that's the thing. I mean, we already talking about getting merch up there. We just haven't done it yet. So maybe talk to Dave Scott this week because we are, once when I created the after hours branding that you see here on the screen on the right here. So that logo right there. So we want to get some of those logos on t-shirts. We want to create some other things that carry that logo as well. And yeah, there's going to be some new stuff added to the store. So Yeah, we're gonna do some trivia. Bothwell, Mike Bothwell. We're gonna get into some of that. So what I want to do, I had some stuff here, and actually, let us get our good trivia music, and then we're gonna get into what we normally do on the second half of hour 3, which is the phantomandmonsters.com Lon Strickler's Phantom and Monsters. So we will be running this for a little while and then leave some time for our Phantom and Monsters, a couple stories that we have there that we picked from Lon Strickler's website. We'll be going over those. But for now, yeah, something going here. So what I had was, and you know, these ones. Here's the thing, right? Let me see how many we have here. That's the problem. We need at least about 20. So let me gather these here real quick. So I hope your Sunday is going great. I hope your weekend has been going great. You know, I don't know what you guys have planned for the upcoming week, but we know Dave Scott's going to bring the heat here Monday through Friday, and can't wait to spend some time with you guys. We will do the call-in. We had a great call-in show last night, by the way. If you weren't there, definitely consider stopping by the call-in show. We had one of our viewers here from Spaced Out Radio, Bim Jim, came on, and man, if you weren't there, you may want to go back and listen to that show. It was awesome. And we'll see who comes up tonight. Hopefully we get some people coming on to talk about their experiences and kind of give us some stories here. So let me see. All right. All right. So, you know, ufology, as far as cryptid world, we did learn about the Wendigo, though. That was the one thing that I didn't know about prior to the other trivia that we did. But you know, and then now we're hearing more about Wendigo, right? We found out that Dave has a Wendigo hoodie on the website, so there's something to that. We'll probably jump into a little more of that at a later time, but I'm going to go ahead and start out with this here. Some of these questions are probably going to be redundant, but that's good because this is more about, you know, the winner obviously is going to get bragging rights, is going to be able to have their name posted on this video for all eternity with fire emojis and the whole nine, get the shout out. But the bigger part is everyone wins because you end up gaining knowledge. You get to test your current knowledge and then gain knowledge on some of the answers that you didn't know. And it's kind of, you get to walk away from it with more knowledge than you came into it with, right? And so that's the thing. Derek, no voice to chat, no voice to text. Use your fingers. We're going to go ahead and start with these, which are pretty easy comparatively. So here we go. Let's go. You ready? Let's do this. So in 1961, Betty and Barney. Okay, 1961. Betty and Barney Hill reported being abducted by aliens. What type of beings did they claim to encounter? 1961. Betty and Barney Hill reported being abducted by aliens. What type of beings did they claim to encounter? All right, I think I see some answers here. Let me go ahead and move this out the way. Reposition this real quick. I do see the correct answer in here, so it's gonna be Tamothman. Let's see. Yep, Tamothman got the answer with grays, so it is grays. It's one for Tamothman. All right. Question number 2. What is the term commonly used for a sudden, unexplained burst of light observed in the sky, often associated with UFOs? I'm gonna tell you what. I don't like the question. I don't think that you'll get the answer by the way that question is worded. So let's skip that one. So let's go to this one here. Project Blue Book was a U.S. government program aimed at investigating UFO reports. In what year was it officially terminated? Project Blue Book was a U.S. government program aimed at investigating UFO reports. In what year was it officially terminated? All right. Looks like we got... Man, okay, wait a minute. After the dust settles, it looks like it's Tamothman again. 1969. He's off to a fast start, guys. Tamothman is off to a fast start. Somebody better check it. Checked it. Check it. Christine says I'm too slow. Oh, let me see. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is going to be very easy, guys. So be ready. Everyone knows this answer, I'm going to say. Probably. Mostly. So anyone can get this right now. Which famous military pilot reported a UFO sighting in 2004 during a training mission and later co-founded... Wait, okay. Yeah, which famous military pilot reported a UFO sighting in 2004? ...2004. Okay, there we go. Man, Tamothman is smashing this one. Are we giving this one to Tamothman? Tamothman is 3-0 right now. This is bananas. It is David Fravor. So the answer, Maggie, to the other question was UFO sighting or encounter. It just, no one would have ever gotten that one. All right, so let's see here. Next question. What is... Okay. In ufology, what term is used to describe the removal of a person or people against their will by non-human entities? What is the term used to describe the removal of a person or people against their will by non-human entities? Man, Tamothman is showing no mercy, guys. No mercy at all. So how do we want to play this, though? I'm going to leave this one up to you guys, right? So the question was, in ufology, what term is used to describe the removal of a person or people against their will by non-human entities? Now, the actual answer was alien abduction, right? So, do you guys think we should take abduction or should it be alien abduction as the correct answer? Right. Technically, a human can abduct. Exactly. So that's kind of why I'm asking, because specifically, it would be an alien abduction and not a human abduction or any of the sort. So we got to give that one to Lex Diaz. Lex Diaz is on the board. Lex Diaz is on the board, and let's see. Okay, the Rendlesham Forest incident, often called Britain's Roswell, occurred in December 1980 at a U.S. Air Force base. Where did it take place? Where did it take place? Where is the let's see, the I'm guessing city and country or city and state, where it's more specific. England, but where? It says in the forest. What? I'm assuming this is a city in England. What city? Yeah, maybe, right? Okay. All right. Probably had to Google that one, but that's that will take that. Van Gogh is Suffolk. All right. So okay. What is the acronym for the United States government's UFO investigation program that replaced Project Blue Book in 2020? Yeah. Okay, that's correct. Nope. Nope. This is one you guys probably forgot about. Those are definitely some of the programs, but this particular one wasn't around for very long. This one actually helped produce the first UAP report. The acronym for the United States government's UFO investigation program that replaced Project Blue Book in 2020. Not AIMSOG. I think you're getting kind of close, though. I want to say AIMSOG came after. It may have came right after or right before this one. If not, I'll just give it to you. It's the UAPTF, Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. You recall that wasn't really around for long at all. Okay. Which astronomer claimed to have observed and photographed UFOs near Mauna Kea, Hawaii in 1974? Van Gogh, UAPTF. Remember, was it the guy Travis, the dude from Skinwalker Ranch, was part of that, and they helped create or put together the first UAP report. Travis Taylor, I believe. Joe Monk, that's not how it's going, man. That's not how it's going. But I'll be more clear on the question. It's just questions and answers. All right, I'm just going to give you guys the easy ones. So there is no discrepancies here. So, okay, easy question. Everyone should get it. It's pretty easy. In ufology, it's pretty straightforward. What does the acronym CE4 stand for? Jeremy. That's funny, Jeremy. In ufology, what does the term CE4 stand for? Maggie M10, close encounters of the fourth kind. That would be correct. Jeremy Jones, do you know the answers before you ask them? My instincts are saying no. Well, technically I do, because the answers are right below the questions. But no, we're learning together. We're learning together. It's not about me knowing everything and teaching anyone. Some of these things you don't know. Some of these things I don't know. We're learning together, man. All right, let's see. Whose book Communion popularized the image of the gray alien and recounted his alleged experiences with extraterrestrial beings? Whose book Communion popularized the image of gray alien and recounted his alleged experiences with extraterrestrial beings? It's gotta be, okay, I see the right one. Whitley Strieber, give it to Jeremy Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy Jones is on the board. Okay. Which U.S. state is home to the famous Area 51, a top secret military facility often associated with UFO conspiracy theories? Which U.S. state is home to the infamous Area 51? The Mothman, Nevada is the state. Right next to me here, where we will be for the Spaced Out Radio party. We appreciate it. I know that was too easy, Lex, but I gotta do easy ones too. You know what I mean? Because Vaughn, thank you for the awesome super chat. Trivia night should be a thing. Love it. It will be. We're just kind of formed. Yeah, we'll do all that. Simon, new trivia music. We're gonna do all that. This is a work in progress, guys. This is a work in progress. You are watching the formation of something that's going to be crazy awesome. So just remember, you were here at the ground level. You were here at the ground level. Yeah, it creates ambiance, but yeah, there is definitely some other stuff. This was a little more cheery, right? So, okay, let's see. What do we have here? Who was the first president of? Okay, and I need first and last name, so I want to clarify. Let's say that before I ask the question. I need first and last name of this president. Who is the first president of the United States to publicly acknowledge having seen a UFO? First and last name. I do see it. I do see it. I do see it. All right, that would be Joe Monk. President Jimmy Carter, for sure. First president to publicly acknowledge having seen a UFO. All right, we got a couple more questions here. What is the term for a UFO sighting that is witnessed by multiple people? The term for a UFO sighting observed by multiple people. All right. Simon the Likeable answer is definitely a mass sighting. All right. This is one I haven't heard of or seen before. So, okay, let's go with this one here. The Allagash. I just lost it here. Okay, the Allagash abductions, a notable case in alleged alien abduction, took place in 1976. In which U.S. state did this incident occur? Allagash, Allagash. Okay. It's like somebody's on top of it already. Jeremy Jones. It is Maine. It is Maine. Okay. Who is often credited with coining the term flying saucer after reporting a sighting in 1947? Who is credited with coining the term flying saucer after a sighting in 1947? All right. That would be Joe Monk, Kenneth Arnold. Okay, the Travis Walton abduction case depicted in the movie Fire in the Sky occurred in 1975. In which U.S. state did that incident take place? Fire in the Sky. It's a Mothman coming back from, let's see, make sure I say that. Yep, it's Arizona. All right. Okay. The Hudson Valley sightings in the 1980s involved a series of UFO reports in the night sky. In which U.S. state did these sightings predominantly occur? The Hudson Valley sightings. All right. All right. Yep. First person. According to this here is Paranormal with New York. All right. All right. What is the term for a UFO sighting that occurs near and under a body of water, such as oceans or lakes? The term for UFO sighting underwater. Yeah. Okay. So I'll say this right after this. Area 51, looks like you have it here. USO, unidentified submersible objects. And yeah, so essentially, guys, what it is, and yeah, this is a great thing to point out. So please make sure you set the live chat. So I'm not in the same chat as you guys are. You guys are in YouTube chat, and we stream with the StreamYard, right? The StreamYard has its own chat, which it's fed from YouTube. So the chat that we use during the show is the StreamYard chat. So anytime we're interacting with the chat, it's happening through StreamYard. And so StreamYard is importing this information from YouTube. All right. So let me see here. All right, so yeah, let's do one more because I'm gonna have to count them up here. So, okay. The Pascagoula abduction involved two men, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker, who claimed to have been abducted by aliens in 1973. In which U.S. state did this incident occur? The Pascagoula abduction, what state? Pascagoula. That makes sense, Paramore. And actually what I have to do, because it comes through, you'll see an answer, and then like a couple seconds later, the chat will reform, and then it's actually a different person at spot one. So that's why I have to wait for a second. But what I may do in the future is try to incorporate on a different device, maybe hop in the YouTube live chat so that it mirrors what you guys are seeing. And that'll probably be what we do. Pascagoula. So let me see who got that. Joe Monk. Wait, let me see. Joe Monk. Yep, Joe Monk. Mississippi. So let's go ahead and tally these up here real quick. I know Tomato Man was kind of smashing it. So let me see. Tomato Man has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correct answers. We have Lex Diaz. Lex Diaz had 1. We have Van Gold 1. We have Maggie M10 1. We have Jeremy Jones 2. We have Joe Monk, who has 3. We have Simon the Likeable, who has 1. And we have Paramarv, who got 1. We have Area 51, I should say, who has 1. And we're going to show Vaughn for the super chat. Thanks for your support. Is everyone cheating except me? LOL. Derek Galloway was the previous cheater, but thank you for your support of SOR. And yeah, we're going to tally that up. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and give this this version or this week's chat or SOR trivia to none other than Tomathman. Tomathman, congratulations for killing it here on the chat this week, or the trivia. Want to give you a round of applause if I can get that. So congratulations, Tomathman. We will refine the trivia. We will change the music. We will we'll make this a lot more solid. But I do appreciate you guys participating in our SOR trivia for this week. Tomathman gets his name in fire emojis for all eternity in this video, and shout out on the Spaced Out Radio social media page. So with that being said, everybody congratulate Tomathman. He killed it. You gotta admit it. He went out the gate with like 4 or 5 straight, just kind of killed it. So congratulations, Tomathman. And I want to get ready actually to wrap the show up. So what we're going to do is go ahead and take a look at the awesome super chatters. Thank you for your support. We had Vaughn times 2. And yeah, trivia will be a thing. And we've just like the 3rd or 4th time we've done it. But I'm going to start using the YouTube chat. I'm trying to implement that because, yeah, I understand you guys it probably works out a little different for you guys. And we have Simon the Likeable with 2 super chats. So thank you, Simon. And then we had W. Decker. So thank you very much for your support of Spaced Out Radio. You guys are all awesome, man. I hope you guys all have a great week too. So what we're going to do is go ahead and let you guys know how much we appreciate your support. And to all the viewers out there, all of our listeners all around the globe, thank you for tuning your frequency to Spaced Out Radio. Guys, where we do what we do best. And what's that, you ask? I'm sure you know. What's that, you ask? We own the night. You guys have a great rest of your night. Maybe see you over at the call-in show if you're up, and if you're ready to get on stage, let's go ahead and do it. Otherwise, have a great week, and I will see you guys next weekend.